Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone and call to order the Old Bridge Township June 24th, 2019 council meeting. Please rise for Pledge of Allegiance. Please remain standing for a prayer and for a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As customary in this chamber, we stand for a moment of silence to remember those who are protecting our freedoms, both here and abroad, for our first responders and for those who have made the ultimate sacrifice. A moment of silence, please. Mr. Pasquitti, our prayer, please.
Dear Lord, bless thy servants in the ministry of public affairs who serve thee in this chamber. Give them quiet minds and hearts that they may hear thy voice. Help them to know when to speak, when to be silent. Give them strength to oppose the wrong and uphold the right. And grant that they have a good conscience and soul, at peace with thee and with one another. Amen.
Amen. Please be seated.
This meeting is being held in conformance with the Open Public Meetings Act. Notice has been given to the newspaper, and notice of the meeting has been posted in public places. Next open public meeting of the council will be held on Monday, July 15th at 7:30 p.m. Mr. Cahill.
Here.
Dr. Greenberg.
Here.
Mr. Merwin.
Present.
Mr. Murphy. Mr. Peschitti.
Here.
Mr. Rizzoli.
Here.
Mrs. Walker. Here. President Soha.
Here.
7 present.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the meeting. We're going to be starting out first with the mayor doing some presentations. Mayor Henry?
Thank you, everyone. Good evening. Tonight we have a few presentations to give out. The first one we're going to do is recognizing the Old Bridge High School baseball team, who had a very successful season this year. I'm going to ask Matt to please assist me. We have a lot of certificates to give out. It's quite an accomplishment. The record was 20... Amazing. Fine group of individual young men, and I know you were inspired. You had some, as they say, guardian angels looking out for this team. You know it. I'm sure you felt the presence. So you're here tonight, so we can at least say thank you so much the way you represented Old Bridge, and we know going forward you'll continue to do that. Thank you, everyone. So, Coach, thank you. Coach, if you want to say a few words about the team first before we appreciate that.
First off, thanks for having us and honoring this great group of young men. When you think about our season overall, we started in the March, 30 degrees outside, and we're practicing under the lights. And, you know, playing Northeast baseball is not the easiest thing to do, but these kids came out every day, worked hard. First time ever, went to Myrtle Beach for spring training. And from that point on, this team grew as one unit, and I feel that's why we were very successful. We're graduating 14 seniors this year, which is very rare to have on a baseball team or any high school program at all. And, you know, the future looks bright. We have a lot of good underclassmen sitting in these chairs right now. And, you know, they're all going to be missed. It was a great group. We had a lot of fun and set the school record for most wins, won the Red Division, won the GMC Championship, and we were 4 outs away from winning the sectional title. So, I mean, they kudos to all these kids out here. And they make us proud, and thank you very much for having us again.
Coach.
Thank you. First one is Matt Baker. Nick Calicari. John Cardilli. Daniel Chiafalo. Ryan Della Cuesta. Andrew DeSegli. Sonny Fauci. Matt Flores. Jason Gilman. Elliot Hayward. Matt Herbstman. Luke Knopp. Hi, Maddie. Joe Kraus. Brandon Mark. Aiden Nemeth. Eddie Nugent. Mike Oliva. Paul Pulowski. Chris Picarello. Dylan Tomaso. And Dean Wietrowski. Coaches, Mike Anastasio. Bobby Benetti. Mike Cayazzo. Hall of Fame coach, Fred Cole. Jordan Fetterman. Vinny Gallia. Danny Lanzafama. And Dean Roventini.
We have a special one for our head coach here. Matt was named Coach of the Year here in Middlesex County. Outstanding. Yeah, a lot of competition in Middlesex County, right? Matt Donahue, head coach, Old Bridge High School baseball team, 2019 Greater Middlesex County Conference Baseball Coach of the Year. Okay.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Thank you all. Very nice.
Okay, next up, we have a scholarship given by the Old Bridge Township Shade Tree Commission. Alyssa's here. Come on up, Alyssa.
There's some members here, Mayor.
Shade Tree Commission members are here. Please come up. Stand up here. Good, you're on TV. Come back, not that far, not that far. How are you doing? Thank you. Dan? Gary, you want to say a few words? It was that put this together, make this possible, all because of you.
Well, thank you for letting us up here. And Alyssa's scholarship application has to follow a criteria the Shade Tree put together, in which she puts together an essay on certain topics that help the Shade Tree Commission further and expand their education to and outreach to the community. And her application was well done. It was submitted on time, and she has won the award. And the commission's goal is to help the students wherever we can, and this $1,000 award is the least we can do to help students to pay for college. It, as we all know, is very expensive. So that's really it. Thank you. Congratulations.
We have a certificate for Alyssa Mendez, the 2019 Old Bridge Township Shade Tree Commission Scholarship recipient, for your excellent essay in regard to educating our community about the negative impact of invasive plants and pests. Township of Old Bridge Mayor Owen Henry, and here's a check. Thank you. Next, I have a proclamation I'd like to read for Helen Keller, Deafblind Awareness Week. In our audience, we have Kim and Dominic.
Please come up, please.
Come on up.
Please.
Anyone else here from the organization?
Yes,
Please
there is.
join
There's-
us.
yeah,
Probably, no?
Carlene, yeah.
Hey, Dom. Another high five? And I have a proclamation I would like to read now. Get my glasses. Whereas Helen Keller was one of the most accomplished, respected, and renowned Americans who was deafblind. The combined loss of vision and hearing, one of the most severe of all disabilities, affects more than 1 million people in the United States. It is in the interest of the Township of Old Bridge to encourage the full participation of Americans with multisensory disabilities in our economy by fostering the employment of and promoting of housing and recreational options for people who are deafblind, thus maximizing their opportunities for productive life in the community of their choice. Today, people who are deafblind are attending college, participating in social activities, managing their everyday life, and actively engaged in their communities through employment and civic activities. It is highly appropriate and necessary to publicize the abilities and potential of our fellow citizens who are deafblind or severely vision or hearing impaired, and to recognize Helen Keller as a guiding example of courage, hope, determination, and achievement for other individuals who are deafblind. Now, therefore, I, Owen Henry, Mayor of the Township of Old Bridge, the Township Council, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, and the citizens of Old Bridge do hereby proclaim June 23rd through June 29th, 2019 as Helen Keller Deafblind Awareness Week. Thank you. Thank you so much. Is one of our Old Bridge residents. He resides in Old Bridge, and we thank him for coming out tonight. Thank you, Dominic.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'd just like to close by publicly congratulating all our high school seniors this morning. I went to the graduation ceremony, and Old Bridge sent out into the world a little over 700 seniors of very intelligent, smart group class, and we know we're going to make Old Bridge proud as they go out to college. Some are going right into the military. So outstanding morning for me. I really do appreciate the parents, the school system. It's probably the greatest investment we can make into our children is giving them an education. They'll find out it's the only thing in life no one can ever take away from you is your education. So thank you. I need to thank the parents. Thank you, everyone.
We'd like to wish everyone congratulations, and of course to the class to 2019, much success. We will be going into the body of the meeting now, so I don't know whether or not you'd prefer at this point to leave. That's, that's up to you. Congratulations to everyone again. Guys, great job. Congratulations to everybody. How proud we are, Old Bridge proud.
Oh, yeah. You're their hero. They were just sitting there, they didn't know what to do.
Can't blame them, Ken. Okay, good night, everyone. Have a good evening. Bye. No, not all, yeah, it was graduation.
And then they came in here?
Yeah, well, some of them, most of them are younger. These are the younger
Oh,
group.
okay.
Yeah, yeah, but how proud, right? Okay. All right. Okay, next we'll continue on with our bill listing. Mrs. Walker?
Accounts payable, June 24, 2019, $1,533,396.97.
To a motion?
Second.
Okay, moved by Dr. Greenberg Belli, second by Mr. Rizzoli.
Mr. Cahill?
Yes.
Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Piscitty?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Soha?
Yes.
8 yes.
Payroll, June 21, 2019, $967,284.63.
Do I have a motion?
Second.
Okay, moved by Dr. Greenberg Belli, second by Mrs. Walker.
Mr. Cahill?
Yes.
Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Piscitty? Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Soha?
Yes.
8 yes.
Payroll overtime, June 21, 2019, $52,012.58.
Do I have a motion?
Move it.
Second? Do I have a second? Second. Okay, so moved by Mr. Piscitty, second by Mr. Rizzoli. May we have a breakout, Mr. Shaw?
Yes, thank you, Council President. As Councilwoman Walker indicated, the total overtime for this pay period was $52,012.58. There was a slight uptick due to primary elections, but nothing major in any other department. For the sworn officers, total overtime for this pay period was $42,744.58. Deduct for grants, $700.02. Deduct for ETO, $9,100.51. The net overtime was $32,944.05, representing 681.50 men and women hours. This pay period, Police Department had a mandatory active shooter training, so majority of the overtime is attributable to the training that is required by the state law. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Shaw.
Mr. Cahill?
Yes.
Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Piscitty?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Soha?
Yes.
8 yes. Is that it?
Yes, that concludes the bill list.
Okay, thank you very much, Mrs. Walker. Next will be public hearings and ordinances for second reading. First is H1, renewing plenary retail consumption license number 1209-33-009-003, Red Zebra LLC, licensing term July 1st, 2019 through June 30th, 2020. Is someone here representing them? Please come forward, thank you. And if you could state your name.
Lawrence Rosenberg?
And you will adhere to the conditions on your license, correct?
100%.
Okay.
Okay.
Anybody have any questions
Any?
for him?
How about the public?
Public?
Anyone out in the public wish to be heard on this? All right, seeing no hands, I'll close the public hands. Anyone on council? My left, my right? Okay, moved by Mr. Rizzoli. Second by
Mr. Murphy?
Mr. Murphy.
Okay. Mr. Cahill?
Yes.
And Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Piscitty?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Soha?
Yes.
8 yes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Good evening.
Next is H2, renewing plenary retail consumption license number 1209-33-036-008 Varash Incorporated, trading as Old Bridge Bar and Liquors, licensing term July 1st, 2019 through June 30th, 2020. Someone here representing? Good evening. Can you please state your name for the record, sir?
And you will adhere to your conditions on your license.
Okay, I will open it up to the public. Anyone out in the public wish to be heard? Seeing no hands, I will close the public portion. Does anyone, counsel on my left, have a comment or a question? On my right? Make a motion?
Second.
Okay, moved by Mr. Rizzoli, second by Mr. Merwin.
Mr. Cahill?
Yes.
Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Pescitti?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Soha?
Yes.
8 yes.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank
Have
you
a
very
good
much.
evening. H3, renewing plenary retail consumptions license 1209-33-035-077, Chi-Chi 35 Corporation, trading as Diamond Girls, licensing term July 1st, 2019 through June 30th, 2020. Good evening. If you could please identify yourself for the clerk. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, what is it? Zero, what did I say? Okay.
77, it's
007, right, 007, okay.
Good evening, Mark Kazaz on behalf of the applicant.
Good evening.
And they will comply to the conditions on their license?
They will.
Okay.
Anyone in the public wish to be heard on this? I will close the public portion. Counsel on my left, any questions? Mr. Murphy? Yes. Route 35?
5.
Okay. Anyone on my right have a question or a concern? All right, I need a motion. Moved by Mr. Rizzoli, second by Mr. Merwin? Yes. Okay.
Mr. Cahill?
Yes.
And Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Pescitti?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Soha?
Yes.
8 yes.
Thank you.
very
Have a good
much.
evening, gentlemen. Thank you. H5, renewing plenary retail consumption license number 1209-33-004-002. Oh, no, wait. Oh, I'm sorry, H4, I apologize. It's renewing plenary consumption license number 1209-33-019. Is that the one?
Yes.
Yep,
Yes.
-007, Sarthy Corporation, trading Town Square Wine, Liquor, and Bar, licensing term July 1st, 2019 through June 30th, 2020. Good evening. Your name for the record, please?
Last name is Kedia, first name is Bharat.
Okay.
And you will adhere to all your conditions.
Okay. Anyone in the public wish to be heard on this? I will close the public portion. Counsel, anyone on my left? Comments, questions? On my right? Do we have a motion?
Move it.
Okay. Moved by Mr. Cahill, second by Mr.
Mr. Merlin
Rizzoli.
moved it. It don't matter. It does.
Mr. Cahill?
Yes.
Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Pescitti?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Soha?
Yes.
8 yes. Okay, thank you, Sammy.
Thank you. H5, renewing plenary retail consumption license number 1209-33-004-002, Sideline Lounge Incorporated, trading as Club 516, licensing term July 1st, 2019 through June 30th, 2020. Good evening.
Warren Peterson, on behalf of the applicant.
And they will comply with all their conditions on the license?
That is correct.
Thank you.
Anyone from the public wish to be heard? Seeing no hands, I will close public portion. Anyone on council, my left? My right? Mr. Pescetti.
Move it.
Yeah, can you tell me what the,
Oh, wait.
can you tell me what the
Have a
conditions,
question.
can you tell me what the conditions are, please?
Okay, what are the, Stella? Okay, just 1 minute, Councilman.
Okay.
I don't have the
On Friday and Saturdays from 6 p.m. to closing, the licensee will have someone on duty at the door to check ID. And number two, that the parking lot be patrolled to make sure that the people are not gathering. It's the same conditions every year.
Thank you, Stella.
Oh, you're welcome, Tony.
Okay. Anyone else? Moved by Mr. Rizzoli, second. Mr. Merwin.
Mr. Cahill?
Yes.
Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Piscitty?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Soha?
Yes.
8 yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good evening. Next is ordinance for second reading. Ordinance number 2019-09, an ordinance for the Township of Old Bridge adopting Crossroads redevelopment plan amendment. Do I have a motion?
Move it.
Moved by Mr. Piscitty
Piscitty.
and second by Mr. Rizzoli. Is there anyone in the public wish to be heard on this? Seeing no hands, we'll close public portion. Anyone to my left or right, counsel?
Mr. Cahill?
Yes.
Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
No participation.
Mr. Piscitty?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Soha?
Yes.
7 yes, 1 no participation.
Preliminary public comments.
Madam Chairperson, just one point of order. The items that are listed for first reading, did we not vote to move that up, and did we not vote to first reading at the last meeting?
There's-
I believe
yeah,
that's
yeah,
what we
Stella's
did.
going to address it, Dave.
Okay.
We did take a vote, but the vote was basically because they were a discussion item. We didn't have 2 votes, which moved it up to first reading. So we put them back up, not so there would be no problem later on.
Okay.
We just wanted to cover ourselves and make sure.
All right? Okay. Preliminary public comments to council, subject to the following conditions and restrictions. During the preliminary public portion of the meeting, any person may address the Township Council on any subject matters for a maximum period of 5 minutes. Any such person desiring to speak during the preliminary public portion shall first sign a list maintained by the Township Clerk for such purpose. Comments during the preliminary public comment portion of the meeting shall not encompass second reading ordinances or any other matter for which comment or a public hearing is to occur at the meeting.
Dennis Medwick?
Good evening. If you like, or you can sit, which either you prefer. Yeah, if you feel comfortable, absolutely. Just push the button so it's green.
Okay.
Yeah, this way.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
put it up
sorry.
to you.
Okay.
There you go.
Good afternoon, how are you? I believe you already know about the issue that we have about the cat colony on my block at 223 Hillcrest Ave. And I believe I've sent out multiple emails concerning the well-being of my children in the house. I'd like to read the letter real quick from the pediatrician. To whom it may concern, Dennis and Matthew Medwick are patients at our office. Both children suffer with severe allergies, including allergy to pet dander. Mr. Medwick has reported an ongoing problem with the neighbor hoarding large amounts of cats. It is my understanding these animals are sleeping on Mr. Medwick's air conditioner unit, causing the release of hair and dander into their home, as well as urinating and defecating on his property. This is causing Dennis and Matthew to have ongoing severe allergies and induced wheezing. Pictures provided by Mr. Medwick show several cats on his property and large amount of cat feces. He has also reported that his neighbor leaves food outdoors for the cats, which is attracting raccoons to the area. Please work with Mr. Medwick to provide Dennis and Matthew a safe, healthy home environment, both inside and outside their home. This issue wasn't caused by people just randomly coming to our neighborhood and dumping cats off. The neighbor next door moved in a few years ago, and the girl next door just started feeding them, and they kept coming and coming. Like, let me rephrase that, reproducing. Basically, they have these structures on the sides of their house, and it's basically like a cat brothel. I mean, there's constantly kittens and kittens and kittens, and it's because they're constantly feeding them. I did speak to Dr. Greenberg about it. about this issue, okay? And, you know, the problem is that they keep telling us that they, you know, and I'm sorry to say this, they have friends in town. That's what they keep saying. So every time we complain about it, Mr. Donnell's there, he's called animal control, they know about it. The girls literally came to me and my wife and told us, you know, they called on us. On the 7th, I emailed animal control, and I did speak to Dr. Greenberg, and I explained, you know, that we also called the health department in the past. And I basically folded in when I spoke to Dr. Greenberg because I was approached in the street about this and told I was a backstabber, and they basically knew everything I emailed, everything I talked about. So I'm no policeman by far, but obviously somebody said something. They didn't get a copy of that email. Somebody knows something. And it's got to stop. The smell is just atrocious. Mr. Murr was our neighbor. When it gets hot, it's disgusting. And I don't think my children should have to be on Benadryl 7 days a week because of this, you know, this permission slip that they got to have these cats. There was no cat colony. They created it. And now they have a permission slip for it. And they're not good neighbors. I know you said about being good, and people should be good neighbors. I agree with you. But they're not. Here's a good example. My wife's in front of the house yesterday. She's like, I'm going to let Wee Wee and Shasta out. We have 2 German Shepherds. The kids named them. So she goes to let them out, and the girl immediately lets her dog out because they fight at the fence. That's not a good neighbor. We created a garden. They destroyed it already. There's crap and pee everywhere. I spent Father's Day and yesterday digging out the sides of our house. It's disgusting. You know, the other people here, they're my neighbors. They're suffering from the same problem. It's got to stop. It's not fair. I read the ordinance that said if there was previous complaints that you'd, I don't know, I guess you'd have to get written, like, you know, the neighbors would have to have some kind of written, like they'd have to ask us and we'd have to sign it. We never got anything. There's been complaints for years and they go nowhere. The last time that we called a complaint to the health department, they got something for an unlicensed dog or something. No, it was for the cats. And the girl's arrogant and she's not even a resident. I've been paying taxes in this town for 15 years. You don't even know who I am. I'm a good person. I've never been in trouble. I've never nothing wrong in my life. I volunteer sometimes in town. My kid's playing Little League. Everyone's talking about it in Little. Like this isn't just isolated. Everyone knows about this. It's just disgusting. Why should my children have to suffer for these people? I mean, it's a simple answer. Stop feeding them. Take these houses down and just make it right. Make it right. And you know why? Another reason why I decided to come here, Matthew, look, I brought pictures to show you. That's DJ. They actually call him the mayor because everybody knows him in town. No offense. You know, he's 6. This is Matthew at the fire department. This is both of them at the fire department. And I have multiple. I don't have enough time. There's multiple pictures here. There's pee all over my door. Here's our air conditioner. Here's the loads of crap. The animal control officer says she went there, she didn't smell anything. I don't see how that's possible. Thank you. Help us.
Okay, thank you.
You want me to pass those pictures down? No. Okay. Tanya Watford?
Good evening.
Good evening.
I live right next door to this cat colony. I get it real bad. They're on my roof. They're under my table. They mark their territory on my grill. My car is black. You can see the scratches from them trying to get up on the car. On a hot, humid day, the smell is really bad. And they're just always there. It's Boots, Mr. Gray, Christian, LB and Paige have like 3 litters a year each. Those are the 2 females. It's really too many. And the smell. That's all I have to say.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Donald Carroll?
Good evening. Good evening.
My neighbor Dennis basically said everything that was needed to say. Again, I didn't really appreciate the information given out and them knowing who called animal control on them. And like he said, the woman doesn't live there. She comes to stay at her boyfriend's house maybe a couple of nights a week or whatever the case. But it's too much. You know, today I came home and the smell is just terrible. You know, I cut my grass and it just kicks it up even more from cutting the grass. But that's basically it. Like I said, he said majority of everything, so please help and do your best. That's all I can say.
Thank you, sir.
Nanita Carroll?
Good evening.
Good evening. Donnell is my husband. So, as my neighbors have mentioned, it is very much out of control. The smell is atrocious. It's beyond frustrating, and it's a health hazard. It's a concern. My husband had to actually chase a cat out of our basement. Don't even know how it got in there. Like, it's to the point, as a matter of fact, yesterday morning when I was leaving out of my home to take my mother to church, there was a cat in between the back of my car and Tanya's car, defecating right in the middle of everywhere. This is, they kick up everything, they defecate everywhere, they urinate everywhere, they're on the cars, they're scratching, they were clawing and gnawing at my husband's antenna on his work vehicle. It's a problem, I've been in that neighborhood for at least 10 years and has ever been that bad. The neighbors, you know, it's one thing to feed them. Like they mentioned, they do leave the food out. They got these huts, then it's attracting other animals, and it's a concern to the point where now you don't want to go outside. It's not safe, you know, especially at nighttime as the weather begins to get warmer, it's attracting all kinds of things. And you don't want to come outside and you're seeing something that's eating this food that they're leaving out for these cats, so they're not only just feeding the cats, they're feeding whatever wildlife is around. And behind Tanya's home, the cats burrowed some type of hole, and they actually live in there, and then there's kittens everywhere. So the fact that they're saying that they're picking up these animals to get fixed and then letting them back out is untrue, because all it's doing is attracting more, and they continue to multiply, and they continue to defecate, and they continue to urinate, and it's just disgusting. So I've never been to any of these meetings, never felt really too much of a need to, but this is something that is very important to me because I pay my taxes, and I just don't feel like this is something, it's something that's not being fixed, and I feel like it's being ignored, and it's important to be addressed, and I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Dilip Patel?
What's the name? Still?
Mr. Patel or Ms. Patel? Okay.
They may have left. I don't see anybody coming up. Okay.
Okay, that's it.
Okay, so then we'll close the public comments. Next will be council member comments. Anyone on my left? For council member comments, anyone?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin?
Yeah.
I addressed this cat problem at the last meeting, when we were told that it was all taken care of. So it's evident it wasn't taken care of. These people are not exaggerating. If not, they're even playing it down. It stinks. It smells. They can't turn their air conditioners on because the smell's coming through without the air conditioner on. When they turn it on, it just quadruples. They have children that suffer from allergies. We have an ordinance whose intent is fantastic, but we have a cat colony who's not following the ordinance. The ordinance needs to be addressed that we don't have these cat colonies in neighborhoods. We thought enough of them to say they can't be within 1,000 feet of the schools. Why? If we're going to leave them in the neighborhoods, why are we concerned that they're by a school? They are a health hazard. They're not being spaded. They're just being fed. The raccoons, the skunks, and all the other vermin are coming and eating the food and jeopardizing their health of that neighborhood. And we need to address it We need to not allow these things in residential neighborhoods. I know the intent of the ordinance was to trap, neuter, release, and vaccinate, but they're not doing it. So we need to address this on that ordinance. On another note, I see Mr. Markey's in the audience, and I've already emailed him, and he promises me that all these items will be taken care of. We have lights out at Memorial School, Cooper School, Parkview at Madison. They're all security lights. Plus, we have, I think it's 18 other street lights out just in the Lawrence Harbor Clipwood Beach Cheesequake section. I didn't even get to the rest of the ward. And it's something that we should be addressing daily. The police department should be out there. They're out there at night. You know, they could start noting these pole numbers and locations and reporting them. These lights go off and on. Some stay out. You know, you might ride down the road and the lights are lit. You come back 5 minutes later, the light's out. That's a problem within the street light system that need to be addressed. I spoke to Kyle today about a whole lot of potholes in the area. Plus, there's some sections that are really been eaten up by New Jersey natural gas, and I don't know if they're coming back to repave these roads or not, but those roads are atrocious. Then we get to the, I talked to Matt, and Hamachu talked to me before the meeting. The kids in Lawrence Harbor and Clipwood Beach have a basketball court, and they want to know when theirs are getting done. They know that the one at Geik Park was done, the one at Vetch Park was done. There's some unsafe conditions at the ones in Lawrence Harbor. The blacktops upheaved, and they need to be addressed. And the kids want to fix the fence themselves. The fence has been in a deplorable condition for years. There's a hole in it. Everybody blames the kids. The kids are saying that thing has been like that since they were little kids. They're now young adults. So if we can get that addressed. Like I said, they want to do it on their own. They want to show a little pride. They want to go. If you guys supply the fence, they'll put it up. They even have a contractor that's willing to help them on a volunteer basis to erect the new fencing. And it needs some matting around the stanchions. They clang their head a little bit, But that's all I have. Thank you.
Anyone else on my left for council comments? On my right? Mrs. Walker?
Yes, I was driving down 516 last week, and I was amazed that the county solution still to the flooding problem, if anybody notices the orange barrels. I was thinking that we send about $50 million every year of our tax money to the county, and what do we get in return? I don't think we get much. I really wish that we could retain some of that money on our own. I think we could do a whole lot better with the money. Our budget's like $52 million. And we look at all we do for $52 million. And that $50 million we send to them, I think we're lucky if we get $5 million back in services. The county spends all the money in New Brunswick and places like that. And I just wish there was some way that we could maybe disband the county government. It's just another layer of government, in my opinion, and we don't get any money back, and it's really a sin. We'd have so much more money to do all these things. Like, we actually, Mrs. Councilwoman Sohorn and myself had written to the county to ask if they could help with bulk pickup. They told us no. We wanted them to help us with a light on 34 because it realigns. No, they never help with anything, and it's just really very sad.
You through, Mrs. Walker? Yes. Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Dr. Greenberg?
Yeah, several things. Weren't there bathrooms that were damaged down in Lawrence Harbor just recently? If you could...
The police substations, the facility at the county facility on the beachfront. Not our part of the building was damaged, but the county facility was damaged, severely damaged.
But still, they were just vandalized for no reason, bathrooms down there. And
Yeah, there was,
restrooms.
they were open overnight, and somebody went in and destroyed everything inside the bathrooms.
Well, I noticed a lot of things, unfortunately, that have happened down there, and it's unfortunate, and I don't know why it keeps coming on. But I did want to address the cat situation. The council passed an ordinance because there were people that were doing this with cats. They were neutering them and releasing them. There were main places by Lowe's on 9, the hospital, and different areas, and apartment buildings were the main problem. This came about to control the population of cats, as we know how quick they can do it. So that person, he or she may have been taking care of their cats, and there's other cats that come. And they come because of irresponsible people that let these cats out. They're no one's cats. That's the problem. And I feel bad that you're living in that situation, and you shouldn't. You shouldn't have to live where there's odor, that your property's being damaged or anything like that. But the Wait, and I don't want back and forth. I just want to explain that this ordinance was passed, so then people who wanted to do trap, neuter, and release would have to follow a certain protocol. It is a volunteer basis. They are not anyone's cats. And what happens is, sadly, we've identified areas in that area where people just randomly abandon cats. And it's sad that you can't get the people that do it. Then there are people, and it's very sad, hoarding situation, that had 60 cats in their house. And it's very simple. If they're spayed and neutered, and there's low-cost spay and neuter facilities to get it done, you don't have this overpopulation of cats. And if they're all spayed and neutered, there shouldn't be more kittens there. So other people, their other cats are coming, or they're not spaying and neuter them. But the colony, I don't know that colony. I don't know anything about it because that's not what I do. They have to fill out a form, they have to register the cats, and it's overseen by the animal control officers. And, well, why do they keep on saying that? And that's why you're making accusations saying that things were done, but I'm not going to go down that road. I'm trying to help.
All right. Okay.
I'm trying to help.
All right.
The whole thing is,
There's
you
a
have to
public
get
portion
volunteers
after,
down
okay?
there to trap these cats then. That's the whole thing. You have to get volunteers, a group together that will trap these cats. And the way you can identify the ones that are already done, they have ear tips on them. And if not, they're not, that colony, if it's registered, every cat has to be spayed and neutered. If not, they're not registered. I don't know the colony, as I said. That's not my job. That's the animal control officers. But they have to follow rules and regulations of the ordinance also in order to be a colony. So that's what has to be done. The animal control, and if you call the Board of Health or whatever has to be done down there, it has to be done through animal control, and the people that have the colony have to follow the ordinance. And the way this is done, it has been proven time and again. If every cat is spayed and neutered, there's not more kittens, and they go away through attrition.
All right, yeah. Okay.
Trap, spay, neuter, vaccinate also.
Trap and fix them and release them?
Yes.
Feeding them and giving them nice homes?
No, here's the whole thing. When you feed them, if you're a colony, if you're a caretaker for a colony, you have to register. You have to register what cats are in that colony. You have to show that they've been spayed and they've been vaccinated. And the way you feed them, you have to follow the ordinance. You don't leave food down all the time. There's food 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour in the evening. That's it. And so that's why we do have an ordinance.
But the food is left when?
It's.
The colony that you said you didn't know anything about, it's left when? It's left all night.
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know the colony.
Excuse me, Council President, let me address.
Unfortunately, I just
Let
have
me-
to
let me give some informations, and
Yeah.
Captain Mandola, Scott Grumpert couldn't be here, but Captain Mandola has
Let him.
information. The animal control and Scott is dealing, this information is received sometimes in the May. They've been working with the homeowners to address the situation. He was there today. We have also instructed Health Department to visit the home to make sure that there is no health hazard. So we have taken steps, and I'm going to turn it over to Captain Mandola so he can provide information what is being done by the township.
Good evening. As he said, Captain Gumbrick oversees the animal shelter, and he gave me information, a brief summary as to what's going on Hillcrest and what his position is and what they've been doing. On May 14th, they received a complaint at 223 Hillcrest. Animal Control spoke with a resident of 223. The resident registered the colony, which was 5 fixed and ear-tipped, with Animal Control. Since the registration, there have been 9 nuisance cats removed from the area by Save All Stray Cats, which is the township's animal control provider. These animals are not part of the registered colony. So as other cats come in and are identified, we try to remove them if they're not registered. The residents have been advised to follow the feeding schedule and remove all food immediately after to prevent other animals from congregating in the area. They have been told to not feed the animals in the front of the property. They are aware of the provisions of the ordinance. They have been working with Save All Stray Cats to help with the colony and their neighbors. So these folks are aware of the ordinance, and they're told to abide by the ordinance. On Monday today at 9:30 a.m., Captain Gumbrick went himself to the residence and inspected the property. He looked at the front of the house. There was a shelter set up along the left side of the house. He observed 4 cats near the shelter. 2 cats were ear-tipped, and he couldn't observe the other 2 as they ran into the marsh behind the home. There was no food in the area. There was a stainless steel water bowl that contained clean water. There was no shelter or cats on the right side of the property. There was no odor that he could detect at that time, and there was no feces visible on either side of the backyard. So he did walk around and survey the area. He observed that there were many other residents feeding animals, as he observed homes with dishes on their porches. So that now is out of our control and out of our hands if other residents are just aimlessly feeding the animals. He observed that, yes, Captain Gumbrick is researching the ordinances from other towns to see if there's anything that we need to do to our ordinance update to help with this situation, this problem. And by the end of July, he's going to meet with the Trap, Neuter, Vaccinate, and Release Committee to discuss any and all of the options that they can do and bring towards your attention.
Thank you, Captain Mandola. Anyone else for council?
You said about changing the ordinance. I'm not even so sure you have to change it. They're not following the current one. If they change it, it's only going to be looser. You said this woman doesn't even live in Old Bridge? Okay, who signed the permit? Well, these are things, it looks like nobody else is going to check on it. You might want to see a copy of it. I don't know if you can even request that. Maybe her boyfriend doesn't even like this, and he won't sign it, but she's not getting rid of the food, and there's other violations. Just yourself keep track of it. When you get enough, somebody's going to have to do something. I mean, I'm a big cat lover, but I wouldn't want that at my house either.
Keeping track of it. The thing is that nothing is being done. So regardless of what we're keeping track of and how many times we call, I personally called animal control myself, and the lady went back and told her that I told, which I don't care. But what I'm saying is that if we're trying to do, proactively trying to do everything we can, we're documenting everything that we possibly can, okay? And still nothing is being done about the end result is the same. She continues to do the same. With the purpose of having these letters on this paper mean what?
All right,
Because
ma'am.
you're gonna keep doing the same thing.
Well, that's what
Ma'am,
I'm saying.
excuse me, John.
From what I'm hearing.
John, we just have to keep this as council comments. There is a public portion at the end, but I can't have a dialogue between us right now. We're getting the information, but we can't go back and forth, please.
Mayor,
Yes.
I'm sitting here bewildered that Councilwoman Greenberg would say she doesn't know anything about this cat colony. You don't? Well, let's go back to the videotape of the last meeting, when you said you went and spoke to the residents. Yeah, you did.
I spoke
And you
to the
told us it was all
residents,
taken care of.
Mr. Medic.
No, you said it was, you told us
Mr.
it was.
Merwin, I'm not going to go
You
back
told
and
us-
forth, and
No,
you're not
no,
going to
no,
put
no,
words in my
no,
mouth.
no.
So
told
I
us-
know what I said,
you told
and I
us
know
that
the
was
intent
all
of my words
taken
were.
care of.
So you can say what you want and create the
And we can go
chaos.
back to the videotape.
Go back to the
Yeah,
videotape.
we can go back to the videotape.
Go back to
You
the
told
and
us
I'll
you
tell you
hadn't
when you
spoken.
were in Atlantic City and didn't want to come to a meeting because you were at a hot table. Let's go back to the
She's out
tape.
of order.
Okay,
But-
let's.
No, let's not.
Mr. Murrin, excuse me, here we go again, here in your
Oh,
temper.
you're right.
Let's
Wait a
calm
minute,
down.
she just
Everyone is
overrode everything I was
Excuse
saying.
me.
No.
Everyone is being reasonable, we're trying to listen.
I'm trying to be very reasonable.
Well, at this point now, your shouting is not helping
You're
matters.
right.
Here we go.
You're right. I tend to get loud. I'm
well,
sorry.
well,
But for her to
excuse
sit
me.
there, so disingenuous.
Stop.
Matter of fact, it's an outright lie.
Here, listen.
It's an
excuse me.
outright lie what
There
you
has
just
to be
said.
some civility in here. Calling people liars is unacceptable.
When you lie, you get called a liar.
Stop it. You are constantly stepping over the line, constantly.
Okay.
There is never a time that we can have a normal conversation. We want to help these people too. They're residents of
I'm
Old
telling
Bridge.
you what, I've about had it
Stamp
with
your
yous
feet.
all overriding me.
Bang your fist.
It's
Enough.
No, it's not enough.
Here
Call
we
the
go.
police
Here we
department
go.
and have me removed.
Mr.
I have
Irwin,
a
stop
right
being
to discuss
theatrical.
this without being
You're being
disrupted by the
theatrical.
councilwoman.
What do you mean disrupted? People, I've given you more than enough chances to speak, and every time you get angry, you
I
bang
just
your
tried to
fist at
speak
me.
and I was overrode by her the whole time.
Enough.
Stop it. Stop it. I know you're her running mate. I know it. Stop it.
You know what, Mr. Berwin? You owe me an apology.
I don't owe you an apology.
Yes, you do.
Because
I
the
try to
public
run,
sees it every meeting.
I try
They
to run
know.
a very civil meeting here.
public knows.
I show respect. You show
Yes,
me none.
I'm not going to show you respect
There you
because
go.
you don't give it to me.
Absolutely incorrect.
All right,
I
okay.
let you speak as many times as you want to. It's when you call people names and you shout and you pound your fist, that's when I say something. And that's enough. It really is. Mr. Cahill, did you have your hand up?
Yes.
Okay.
A couple of times. So, look, these folks don't want to hear a regurgitation of our ordinance. There's a problem, okay? They've come down here because there's a problem, and the police have been there, but, it sounds to me, and I have not been there. So, I've not been there. I'm just hearing what you guys said and what's been reported at other meetings. And, regardless of what our ordinance says, I do believe, and this is a question to the attorney, if the colony becomes a nuisance, that we can take action, can't we? Can't the township take action against the colony?
Yes, it's in the ordinance.
Okay, so I understand. I was putting it on the record. No worries. Why have we not then taken action? Because this is a recurring issue. These folks, I feel horrible for the folks that can't even turn on their own air conditioning, and they have, cat urine and feces, and their cars are scratched, et cetera. Why have we gotten to this point and we can't take action to help these folks? It's a straightforward question. Let's take all the politics and all the stuff out of it. It's a straightforward question. Why can't we help these folks?
I don't think it's a matter of not helping.
We haven't, though.
As I reported, there is a process that we have to go through, right?
Okay.
They have got a license. We have gone through and sent the health inspectors. We have sent the police department, and yes, in the ordinance there's a right eventually to take the license away. That's the step that we have to take.
Himanshu, with all due respect, okay? If I was the resident and I had to wait till the end of July or August, okay?
No. I think
Look, time out.
that's misunderstood. What Scott is researching is to make changes in the ordinance to limit.
That's the
where
long-term
it can-
solution.
But the problem, addressing the problem is not going to wait until July. We're working on it. They have a process they have to go through. They have the person who has a license has an appeal process that they have to adhere to. So we have to take those proper steps in removing. Certainly, if it's going to become a serious nuisance, yes, we have a right to take the license away and eventually remove the colony from the location and remove the cats if necessary.
We've got, I don't know how many people that came here tonight that said it is a serious issue. So when does it become a serious issue where we actually take action? Again, I'm not running again. I'm not trying to be political. I'm just asking a very simple question. How are we going to help these folks? And when are we going to help these folks?
We're going to look further, investigate.
When? When are we going to help these folks?
We are investigating, Mr. Cahill.
Why don't
We are investigating. But we have to take, as Captain reported, that Scott Grumpert, who is in charge of the animal shelter, is visiting regularly. Animal controls officers are going there, they're speaking to them, and they're removing. Now, maybe now, I think the attention is getting there, and hopefully this problem will be resolved soon. I mean, we're going to continue. We're not going to stop and not just say, oh, wait until the ordinance. That's not what we're saying. The ordinance change is to reflect, maybe there are areas, residential neighborhood where it's too close proximity, maybe we can't have those things. But we have to find out if those, that can be accomplished. So that's what he's working on besides that. But he's going to address this problem. He's not giving up on this problem.
No, and I wasn't trying to be accusatory of the captain, okay? I really wasn't, all right? But I think there's two issues that we're dealing with here. One is a longer-term issue, which is fixing the ordinance, and I totally agree with that. We should be doing that. I think we took a good faith effort at it originally, okay? All good intentions, right? And now we realize, I think, that it needs to be tweaked. So that's a long-term solution to the problem. We have an immediate issue here that I think we have to address quickly. So I'm asking on behalf of these residents, can we quickly address their issue?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Anyone else that hasn't made a comment? And then I'm going to...
I definitely agree with Mr. Cahill. If they're having a problem, just get rid of them now. And, from what the officer read, they've got enough things that they're doing wrong. I mean, there's no reason to have them in a development, which I agree with Anita. And I didn't hear Anita, what I did hear her say was she had a problem at Adams that she was pretty much taken care of. That's what I heard. I don't know what the tape said, but you were talking about a development, was it Adams they had a problem?
I simply said that I spoke to the resident, that I reached out to him, that he had a concern. I called the ACO officers, and I don't know the guy, I've never seen the colony, but then I called the administrator of our trap neuter release, and they did do something. They took 9 cats out.
They took 9 cows from where they're headed today? They took 9?
They took 9 cats. Obviously, there are more cats, and I'll tell you, it's spring, they reproduce. This is what I try to tell people. When there is 1 or 2 cats, you can deal with it. When you have 10, 15, and 20 that are not spayed and neutered, it is not going to help the problem until you spay and neuter them. That's the problem.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you.
Volunteers, the Save All Strays Inc. that goes ahead and administrates this, John, they need volunteers.
I agree.
They reach out for volunteers all the time.
I agree.
And they're a volunteer organization themselves, and they work on donations. And that's how it works. And they work for people who are good-hearted that want to help. These are no one's cats. These are no one's cats.
I agree.
Someone decides to take a colony, yes, they have to follow the ordinance, they have to be respectful for their neighbors. That's one issue. But I can tell you, when I was notified about it, immediately, I called the ACO officers, and I called the captain. The captain was out. I spoke to the business administrators. They are on top of it, and it's not going to be resolved overnight. That's the problem. We all want this problem to go away. I don't want the people to live with that going on next to them. They shouldn't. But really, you have to look around the whole neighborhood. As the captain just gave a report tonight, that it's not just one house. This is a rampant problem. We've been saying it for how many years in this town? We had Sustainable New Jersey come in front of this council when I was not a councilwoman, in front of this council years ago, addressing this problem. It's a statewide problem, it's a national problem, and it all stems from irresponsible people. When the problem's there, you identify it and you try to do it. So to say that nothing was done, yes, I spoke after I said, here, you call me if you continue to have a problem, try and figure out how you're going to do it. I was even told, we'll take care of it.
No, I thought you were talking about another colony last night.
No,
but
no.
I agree what he said, but these are not the people that are irresponsible, and they're taking the brunt of it. That's the problem. That's it.
All right, so anyone else have any comments? And we've well noted that these residents have been here and have a lot of concerns, and that the concerns are things that are not going to, it's not for, yes, long-term, but there's a short-term solution that they're looking for, and I believe each and every one of us has understood what you said tonight. There's a public portion at the end of the meeting. Right, and then you can speak again. Okay? Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Council comments then at this point? Okay. Report of the Township Clerk. We have to, discussion. Yeah.
No report at this time, thank you.
Okay, thank you. A report of the Township Attorney.
Not at this time.
Thank you. Administrative report, Mr. Shah.
Thank you, Council President. The administrative report for June 24, 2019. Item 1, grand opening in Old Bridge. The Office of Economic Development hosted grand opening celebration of 10 new businesses in May and June. Welcome to community where Big M Barbecue, Miliani Delis, Flame 800, New Jersey Supplements, Big Jim's Discount Mattress, the UPS Stores, Groomer's Boutique, Red's Toy Shop, Bagel Factory Cafe, and Frank's Supercars. I'm happy to report that over 3 years, the Economic Development has hosted 150 or more grand opening throughout that time. So, we're happy to report that we have many businesses moving in town. It's a positive thing. Item number 2, Old Bridge Arts. The Old Bridge Cultural Arts Committee, in collaboration with Shoppers of Old Bridge, introduced Old Bridge Arts, a monthly art exhibit. The first exhibit featured modern contemporary pop-style art from Chakra's Creative Art Exhibits. The exhibits were shown on Friday, June 21st, 2019 at Shops of Old Bridge. The exhibit will display through June 30th, Fridays and Saturday, 4 p.m. to 8 p.m., and Sunday, 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. For information regarding future exhibits, or if you are interested in displaying art, please contact Cultural Arts at 732-721-5600, extension 2060. Item number 3, milling and paving. On Tuesday, June 25, 2019, weather permitting, the Department of Public Works will be milling and paving portions of John Partridge Road, which will be closed through traffic from Warren Road to Farrington Road for approximately 7:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. Work is expected to last 2 to 3 days. Item number 4, Bridge to Business Expo. On Wednesday, June 26, 2019, the Mayor's Office of Economic Development will host second annual Bridge to Business Expo at Grand Marquis, located at 1550 US Route 9, from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. This event is free to the public and gives businesses an opportunity to connect with each other and the public. There will be free contests, games, raffles, giveaways, seminars, and more during the expo. For questions, please call the Office of Economic Development at extension 7920. Item number 5, second annual Family Park Party. The Mayor's Health and Wellness Council will host the second annual Family Park Party at Geik Park on Friday, June 28, 2019, from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. Local businesses and organizations will be sponsoring free activities throughout the afternoon, along with dog costumes contests beginning at 6 p.m. There will be a pre-concert featuring 88 MPH, which is an 80s band. This is a rain or shine event. Please bring your lawn chairs. For information, please call the Health and Wellness Council at extension 2060. Item number 6, 4th of July holidays. On Thursday, July 4th, 2019, all municipal offices will be closed for the observance of 4th of July holiday. Item number 7, Old Bridge Cultural Arts. The Old Bridge Cultural Arts Committee is proud to announce the second annual Concerts in Park series. All concerts this summer will be held on Thursday at Geik Park from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. The first band schedule is classic rock band Sonic Rain on July 11th. Parking is available at Old Bridge High School parking lot behind the administration building. Concert admission is free. Item number 8, Voice of Old Bridge. The Old Bridge Culture Arts Committee is creating a new choir, Voice of Old Bridge. Auditions will be held on Monday, July 22nd, 2019, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. in the Township Courtroom. For more information on auditions and all culture arts events, please visit website at oldbridge.com/culturearts or check the Old Bridge Facebook page. Item number 9, recycling. Recycling bins are available in the Reginald Butler Public Works Office on Wednesday at at the Recycling Center on Saturday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Bins are $10 each, cash or checks only. Please see recycling attendants at the booth for detail. Item number 10, Old Bridge Food Bank Summer Collections. The Old Bridge Food Bank will continue to collect items during summer months. Collection bins are located in the Thomas English Municipal Administration Building, the Art Henny Old Bridge Public Library, the Richard Cooper Recreation Building, and George Bush Silver Lining Center. For additional information about Food Bank or for a list of needed items, residents should contact the Old Bridge Food Bank at extension 6625 or visit the website at oldbridge.com/foodbank. Item number 11, Recreation and Camp Robin Summer Camp Program. The summer recreation full day, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. 8-week summer camp begins on July 1st, 2019 and ends on August 23rd, 2019. This program is currently full, but there is availability for a half-day camp. Half-day summer camp, recreation camp, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. begins on July 1st and ends on August 2nd. Camp Robin Summer Camp, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. begins on July 1st and ends on August 9th. For additional information and registration, please contact Township Recreation Department at extension 4999 or visit the website at oldbridge.com/recreation. Item number 12, Saltwater Day. Saltwater Day will be held on Saturday, August 10th, 2019, from 3 p.m. to 10 p.m. at Old Bridge Waterfront Park in Lawrence Harbor. The event will feature crafts, food games, live entertainment, and fireworks. Vendor applications are available on the website. For additional information about this event, residents should contact Department of Parks and Recreation at extension 4999 or visit the township website at oldbridge.com/events. Thank you, Council. That concludes my report. There's a lot of activity by Culture Arts and Recreation to report. All the good stuff.
Okay, does anyone have any comments on the report first? Okay, then you.
I move it.
Who made the motion? John, okay, John made the motion, and then Mr. Rizzoli made the second.
Mr. Cahill?
Yes.
Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Fischetti?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Sohar?
Yes.
8 yes.
Thank you, Mr. Shaw. Okay, next will be our consent agenda. I would like to ask for a motion and a second. I'll bring it out to the public for comments and then bring it back to the council for separations.
Move it.
By Mr. Rizzoli, second by Mrs. Walker.
Walker?
Yeah. Separations on my right. Anyone?
Separations? Yes,
Yeah.
I'd separate.
There's no public, is anyone from the public wish to be heard? No, I didn't see any hands. Okay, so what's your, okay. Okay. Anyone else on my right? Mr. Pescetti?
C5, please.
Okay. All right, and you're gonna? C7. Okay. Anyone else on my left for a separation?
C1.
C1, okay. Then I'll ask for the balance, please.
Move it.
Second.
Who moved it?
We had moved it already.
The balance.
The balance, we're doing the, yeah, the balance, the non-separation, Stella. Okay, so you had a motion and a second.
Mr. Cahill?
Yes.
Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Fischetti? Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Sohar?
Yes,
8 yes on the balance.
thank you. C1, Mr. Merwin?
Yeah, why are these being deleted from the tax rolls?
Dawn
Dawn?
will respond.
Okay.
It's something done every year, pretty much just so before I do my billing in July, I can agree to the 2019 tax duplicate as prepared by the assessor.
Why are these particular properties being taken over the tax rolls?
Most of them, they're a result of a subdivision. Either, subdivision. One of them is actually, it's being combined with another lot, and it's exempt, so that one will be refunded. But it's something done every year.
Okay. I just.
Councilman, the reason this happens is that the assessments are finalized in January, the billing takes in July, so those that were billed first half, they need to be officially canceled and properly billed in second half so the mother lot is removed, all the new lots created gets a bill in July.
Okay, any other question? Motion?
Move it.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Rizzoli, second by Mr. Pescetti.
Mr. Cahill?
Yes.
Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Pescetti?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Soha?
Yes.
8 yes.
C5, Mr. Pescetti.
Yes, I don't really have a question on the bid or the bid process or the awarding of the bid. My question is, what is the resilient flooring, and when was it originally purchased? Do you know those answers?
I can tell you that the flooring that has been in there for over 20 years, and the skate resilient flooring is the flooring that's in the lobby and outside of the ice area. It's like rubber matting that is skate resilient, so that when the kids or the adults are walking on it with their skates, obviously it's not ruining their skates or ruining the floor. But we wanted to wait to get our walls done, which are being done now, and then subsequently put out the bid as quick as we can so that we can get this all done by the time we're looking to start opening the arena in September.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
I'd like to move it.
Okay, moved by Mr. Pescetti, second by Mr. Rizzoli.
Mr. Cahill?
Yes.
Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Pescetti?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Soha?
Yes.
8 yes.
C7, Mr. Rizzoli.
Thank you, Council President. I really can't believe in a post-9/11 world we need to be having this discussion. I recently wrote an editorial I want to share with everyone.
For the audience, would you tell them what it is?
C7 is opposing driver's license for illegals. As a retired police detective and first responder during 9/11, I can speak to these issues from the perspective of personal experience. Issues that pertain to public safety cut across party lines, as they should. When far-left Democratic politicians and other elected officials ignore the laws that they don't like, they encourage and perpetuate a spirit of lawlessness among their constituents with behaviors that are reckless and sadly irreversible. The reality is that a sanctuary state is about identity politics, thinly veiled under the tactical agenda of socialists who want to shame the public into believing that anyone who opposes them are racist and xenophobic haters. Since when is the concern of public safety a cause for a collective guilt? When the news broke that New York State had passed a bill that basically rewards illegals with driver's licenses, a cold chill was felt throughout our community. A community that lost countless lives on 9/11. Is New Jersey next to follow suit? We know full well that these individuals are already in violation of federal law. For terrorists, travel documents is as important as weapons. Now, that's a report from the 9/11 Commission. Is this no longer a valid assessment? Are the facts so blurred by socialist agenda and propaganda that we are made to feel that it was all a bad dream? Let us not forget these facts. 9 of the 9/11 muscle hijackers had Florida's driver's licenses, and muscle hijackers are those who were assigned to overtake the cockpits. 18 driver's license and IDs issued from Florida's DMV, 5 of which were duplicates. 8 IDs issued from Virginia's DMV, all in August of 2001. Two driver's license issued in California to two terrorists, Hazmi and Mundar, both were on watch list. Hanjar, the Pentagon pilot, had 4 state-issued IDs, including 1 each from Arizona, Maryland, and was the only hijacker who actually did attempt to take the Virginia driver's test, which he failed. In sum, there were 30 state-issued IDs among the 19 hijackers, 30. Individuals from all over the world enter the United States illegal every day. This is not about targeting a specific group of people, it's about the safety of the public, and that should never be sacrificed in the name of identity politics. Enough said. And with that, I had attached for members of the council and my editorial a photograph of the state-issued Florida driver's license of Muhammad Atta. I need not say more. We need to send a message to the Assembly Speaker, the Senate President, to the Governor, that this cannot be allowed. We cannot risk public safety. We should learn from 9/11. 9/11 Commission goes in deeper detail. How they don't want to use they don't want to travel within the country and use their passports because it brings attention to themselves. Their main focus is to get issued state IDs. We cannot allow this. Please support me on this ordinance, on this consent agenda item. Thank you.
Do I have a motion?
Move it.
Second.
Moved by Dr. Greenberg Belli, second by Mrs. Walker.
Mr. Cahill?
Yes.
Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Piscitty?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Soha?
Yes.
8 yes.
C8, Dr. Greenberg Belli.
Yes. This consent agenda concerns opposing New Jersey being a sanctuary state. As we just heard, what illegal immigrations, what happens when we have illegal immigration and we become a sanctuary state or city. So I would like to put through a resolution making Old Bridge not part of opposing New Jersey becoming a sanctuary state. As New Jersey has some of the highest property taxes in the nation, and the governor of the state of New Jersey and the New Jersey legislature should be more concerned with reducing spending and property tax reduction for legal residents and taxpayers of the state of New Jersey. This is a problem. It's a feel-good situation when you say, oh, illegal immigrants. And believe me, what happens, Mark Rizzoli and I got together with his experience being a retired policeman, detective, and what he's seen through his experience and what we see what's going on. We're being convinced that, you know, you feel bad for people. We do feel bad for people. We want to help people all the time. This government sends millions of dollars to these countries. The problem is the country has to take care of their own people. Besides that, what happens is, I ask you, everyone in this room, we all complain about property taxes. How much are you willing to give up to help illegal aliens? That's a question, because there's a cost to it. And also, what does it do to the people that come across the border legally, that follow the process? We are a republic. We are a land of laws. And the problem is, if you look what happened in New Brunswick, they released someone that the ICE wanted to take control of, and they didn't. They did not detain the person. That person went on and murdered somebody. That is so unfair that someone's life was lost. We know in San Francisco, that person was deported 3 times and in jail and was asked to be turned over to ICE. They let him go, and he killed another woman, Kate Steinle. This has happened time and time again. And just so you know, federal courts are working against their federal authority. They created this law. And what happens when all the people flood this country and they say they're asylum? Asylum should be the country, the next country that they came through. That would be like, also, when you think we create a law and the federal judges, they first of all can't even process all the people that are coming through. So people are left into the country when they say they're for asylum. They're given a court date. They don't show up for it. We don't know who these people are. As Mark said, they come through with documents. They're not coming through with birth certificates and legitimate documents. So when you hear on television ICE is going after illegals, they're not going after illegals. Anyone who broke the law, yes, it's illegal that they came over, but they would have to break the law. And what happens with the sanctuary cities? When they're processed, they take biometrics, they're fingerprinted. It goes into a database, and ICE gets it and say, listen, this person has a criminal background, or they didn't go to court, we have to, you can't even detain them anymore. But just let us know. They are putting ICE agents and police at risk, because if you have them in jail, or if they were in jail before you release them, when they're in jail, they don't have a knife, they don't have a gun with them. Now, it used to take 2 members from ICE to come get them. You release them back in the public, you're putting them in a dangerous situation, and it's taking more individuals to capture them. And so what happens is there's a cost involved. So what is the limit? How much can we sustain this? How much can we afford this? This would be like Old Bridge. The police here would detain someone that the county wanted. And we said, no, you're the county, we're not gonna do it. Or if the state police wanted and said, oh no, we're not gonna do it. How can you ignore these things? And to say, really, ICE only does targeted law enforcement. So after speaking to the chief, he does not want this town to be a sanctuary town. And I feel I have to back up the police in order for them to do their job and to do it safely, and also the residents of this town. And there's always a cost involved, and everyone's hard enough getting through things and paying for things, and to add on an extra layer and an extra cost. So I would ask everyone to join me in supporting this resolution. And I would like to turn it over to Mr. Rizzoli if he would have anything else to add.
Thank you. I pretty much said everything I felt there during when I spoke about the last consent agenda item. But I just want to say that I think we have law enforcement here too. There's not a more dangerous situation when you have to do some type of entry into any type of residence or apartment. And I think putting ICE agents in harm's way just for a political agenda is really, it's unacceptable. You know, it needs to stop. I mean, I don't know if you're all aware, there was an incident in Jersey City recently where an individual was deported twice prior, and he stalked a young lady who was jogging. He's on videotape, and he later ambushed her in Lincoln Park. He sexually assaulted her, he choked her, and then drowned her in the lake nearby. He was recently indicted for that. So you can say, you know, where was the system for that woman? The system failed that woman. And, you know, here it's our job. The number one job of elected officials is to protect our residents. And that's the number one priority. And myself and Dr. Greenberg, I think we're trying to address that. It may not always be popular, but the reality is the number one concern are the people who call Old Bridge home, the people who call New Jersey home, American citizens. That's our number one priority. Thank you.
Do I have a motion?
Can I just ask something?
I'm sorry.
I'm in favor of that, definitely. I want to protect our citizens, but I have a question. The county freeholders have declared Middlesex County a sanctuary county. Can anything we do or say override that? Doesn't the county supersede us? That's the question. I don't know if we could stop that.
I personally think if we pass this resolution, as many towns are getting on board now, it's sending a message. And just like we've been bamboozled in the news to believe that, you know, oh, you're not compassionate if you do this. No, I am compassionate. I care about people, and you want to protect people. So listen, Millstone did it. I think we should do it. More towns are doing it. You could look it up every day, the resolutions, and I think it will send a resounding message.
Well, I agree with it. I think we should take care of our own citizens first. We have enough people that are living in the street, starving. I think we need to take care of our own citizens.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Mr. Murphy, and then Mr. Murphy.
Yes, I'd like to applaud both Mr. Rizzelli and Dr. Greenberg. I don't get it. What's illegal mean anymore? They're illegal aliens. Right off the law, that's breaking the back. It's illegal. They have been given pretty much the same rights we have, but the driving one, this is the first time I remember them then given more rights than us. They don't have to show any points, and we still do. What is this country coming to? And I can't believe that the state's following it, the county's following it. We have to bring America back to us. And that's all I have to say, and thank you very much for bringing that up.
Thank you, Mr. Murphy. Anyone else on my left for comments? Mr. Rizzoli?
That'd be really fast. I could,
Yeah.
just want to address the whole, our resolution's based on fact, not fiction. I can, if anybody has any questions about that, I can show them the 9/11 Commission. It's real easy. Just look it up online. I mean, it's very eye-opening if you want to do any research. It's basically all the information we got. It was ascertained through the 9/11 Commission report, which is very eye-opening. I don't know how people came to any type of conclusion if they actually read it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Chairperson.
Yes, Mr. Merwin? Mr. Merwin?
Yeah. My only question is, what are we considering a sanctuary state, or what are we saying no to? What is a sanctuary state?
Okay, well, first of all, the problem is that they're not notifying or giving notice that you have a criminal in your jail system, and when they just let them go. And that's what happens. They're not following. They say you do not need a judicial warrant. It's an administrative warrant from ICE that says this once they're in the database. And that's what a sanctuary state is. They're not following actually the law. It's kind of crazy that we even have to have this discussion. We feel it, but if we don't put it in writing and we don't take a stand on it, then it is a problem. Go ahead, Mark.
Well, sanctuary state is basically defined as a limited cooperation with the enforcement of federal immigration laws. So we're basically, this is saying we're opposed to it. We don't want Old Bridge to be a part of it, and that's basically what we're addressing here.
Hey, Mr. Merwin, any more comments? You good?
No.
Okay, anyone else?
Wondering what
Yes,
their
Mr.
definition of it was.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
Mr.
just want to chime in. So, I know an ICE agent, I'm not going to identify him, but, I think if he was here, I think one of the most frustrating things he would convey is that, the folks that the ICE agents go after are not, mom and pop kind of folks that are portrayed on the news. These are violent criminals that have a valid retainer against them. And right now, the county, Middlesex County, has chosen to basically just ignore ICE for lack of, I don't even know what the rationale is. And, well, I shouldn't say that. I know what the rationale is. I don't agree with the rationale, right? So it's a dangerous situation. And I appreciate the ordinance, the consent agenda item being put up. It just creates a sense of unfairness to me as somebody who's lived in this town for many years, in this country my whole life, obviously, that we don't consider our own citizens valued enough to protect our own citizens. And it doesn't mean that every immigrant or every alien is a bad person. It really doesn't. And that's what gets misconstrued and twisted in the news. These are bad people. These are people you want to leave the country. And the county and hopefully not the state, but are basically turning a blind eye to that. And it's a sad state of affairs that we're in right now, and I just hope that cooler heads prevail. Thank you.
Anyone else? Mr. Pescetti?
Yeah, I do want to support this opposing us being a sanctuary state, as well as giving driver's license to undocumented aliens. We're really not looking at the whole picture, in my opinion. This council is today, but I think the general public is kind of confused on the issue. And what's happening is we're attracting people, and the more we allow our borders to be open and allow these folks to come in, the word gets around, and and more people come. Just today, I heard on the news that a woman and 3 children and a baby were found in the desert, and they died. They were coming over through Texas, and they died because they died of starvation or thirst or whatever. We're like a magnet. People want to come to our country because we have a great country, but we also have a great immigration system where we allow 1 or 2 million people a year into our country legally, following a process. And if we continue to go on down this road, what are we saying to the people that have followed the process? We're devaluing them, and we're creating a magnet for people to just keep coming over the border, and they're getting hurt. People are getting sexually abused, and you hear all these stories. So we need to oppose New Jersey being a sanctuary state. We need to oppose giving driver's licenses to illegal aliens. And, I feel very strongly about it. And we really need to look at the big picture. So 100% support of this. Thank you.
Are you through, Mr. Piscetti? Anyone else for any comments? I'll just also echo what was here on the council. I think it's a very frightening situation, and I think that we really are trying to, represent our residents as best we can, and I think that it should be, the municipalities themselves should have some say in what's going on here, and not just the county or the state making those kind of very, very, serious recommendations without the people having some input. We live here, and we should have a say in what we want to see for our town. Thank you. I have a motion?
Move it.
Second.
Moved by Dr. Greenberg Belli, second by Mr. Rizzoli.
Mr. Cahill?
Yes.
Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Piscetti?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Soha?
Yes.
8 yes.
Thank you. Ordinances for first reading. FR1, an ordinance authorizing a traffic signal at the intersection of Texas Road, County Road 520, and Murray Drive.
Move it.
This is a package?
Yeah.
I don't think we can.
The lights are already up and operating.
They're all on Texas Road.
This time we said no.
Mark it, then don't do it.
Yeah. No, we got it. Last time, Mark said no. Okay, so we had a motion?
Second.
Okay.
Mr. Cahill?
Just for FR1?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dr. Greenberg? Mr. Merwin? Mr. Murphy?
Abstain.
Mr. Piscetti?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Soha?
Yes.
7 yes, 1 abstention.
FR2, an ordinance authorizing a traffic signal at the intersection of Texas Road, County Road 520, and McLean Street.
Move it. Second.
Moved by Dr. Greenberg Belli, second by Mr. Rizzoli.
All in front of Woodhaven.
Mr. Cahill?
Yes.
Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Piscetti?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Soha?
Yes.
8 yes.
FR3, an ordinance authorizing a traffic signal at the intersection of Texas Road, County Road 520, and Woodhaven Boulevard.
Move it.
Moved by Mr. Rizzoli, second by Dr. Greenberg Belli.
Mr. Cahill?
Yes.
Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Piscetti?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Soha?
Yes. FR4, an ordinance.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I have a question
FR4,
on that.
excuse me?
Question, there's already a light there. So why are we doing this?
FR4.
Yeah, FR4, an ordinance authorizing a traffic signal at the intersection of Texas Road, County Road 520, and Marlborough Road.
Move it. Second.
Okay, moved by Mr. Rizzoli, second by Dr. Greenberg Belli.
Mr. Cahill?
Yes.
Dr. Greenberg? Mr. Merwin? Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Piscetti?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Soha?
Yes.
8 yes.
Okay, we're going to deviate from what your agenda says. We're going to do the liquor licenses prior to the public comment on any subject matter.
Want to move them all?
Yeah, we can move them as a balance. We can move them as a group.
Motion to move L1 through L35.
Second.
Okay, very good.
Okay. Mr. Cahill?
Yes.
Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Piscetti?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Soha?
Yes.
8 yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is the public comments on any subject matter. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to come up and be heard? Come forward, please. Yeah, no, you could sit, you can, whatever
or
you,
stand?
yeah, however you're comfortable. Just make the mic
Just
close.
state your name and address.
Right, and give your
Dennis
name.
Medwick, 222 Hillcrest Avenue.
Okay.
I'd like to know, I'm just real curious. I'm looking at your ordinance here, and you have a page that says definitions. And one says nuisance, disturbing the peace by habitually or continually howling, crying, or screaming, or the unreasonable destruction, desecration, soiling of property against the wishes of the property owner.
Sir, if you could just put your hand,
Oh.
yeah, this way we can, and the public can
Sorry.
hear you. No, no.
Yeah.
Machine's not going to
Yeah,
pick
just
you up.
relax, but this way they can hear you on television as well.
Well, I just wanted to say, like, I understand some of the comments that have been here, but like I said, and I'm sure my neighbors will agree with me, these cats weren't dumped off by strangers. You know what I'm saying? This was created, there used to be a woman that lived across the street. I'll make this real quick. She had a couple cats. She was a poor woman. Her husband died. She was living on a little pension thing. She used to give the cats scraps. Never had a problem. The people moved in next door. These housing things came in. I'm repeating myself again. Procreating. The smell is so bad. You know, I just want to know, I just told you, you know, the pediatrician is telling you guys, I'll tell everybody that, came up to talk. The kids are suffering from this. How long are they going to have to be in my house, coughing, wheezing, having the little ducky mask on that we have? It's like a little nebulizer thing, and it looks like a duck. That's the only way they'll put it on. How long do we have to wait? I mean, can't you guys it says you could relocate it to somebody else. It's obvious that they can't handle what they're doing. As a dad, this is depressing. You know how depressing it is seeing Matthew tell me, Daddy, when I cough now my stomach hurts. Come on. Anyone here has kids, nephews, nieces, grandkids. I know everybody has something. I don't know everybody's story. I don't know anybody. Come on. Would you want to see that? I mean, come on, really. You got to help us out. Like, now. I'm going to go home tonight. It's going to be the same thing. I don't want to have to spend this next week pumping my kids full of Benadryl. It's unnecessary. You guys could fix this right now. That's all I'm doing is, I'm not being mean. I'm asking for help as a father. I'm begging you. That's all I got. I could just beg. Please do something quick. There's other people that do this. Maybe they do it better. Relocate these nests to their house. They're kids. I feel like, come on. He's even missed T-ball. He plays for 516 Pirates. We missed 2 games. He was hacking so bad I couldn't bring him. That's all.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Is there anyone else in the public who wishes to come up and be heard? Okay. And if you could just state your name again for the record, please.
Nonita Carroll. I live at 225 Hillcrest Avenue.
Thank you.
So I just wanted to reiterate the fact that these are not new cats. Obviously, the kittens are new, but I know what I see every day. So someone from the outside coming in talking about what the procedure and protocol is supposed to be for this colony of these nests of cats, what I'm seeing every day, I know these cats. They're not just somebody's dropping them off, and that's not the case. These cats have been there. These cats have been attracted by those neighbors, by that woman that's not even a resident. And I know for a fact that nothing has been done about it and nothing was being done. Okay, the first time I first called animal control was about a year ago. So you can't sit up here and tell me that something had been done or was being rectified. When I first called, they sent someone out. Okay, it looked like something was being done, but the matter just got worse. And nothing, it doesn't cease, it just continues to get worse. Sometimes they howl, you hear them fighting in the middle of the night. It's disruptive, and it's a health hazard to the neighborhood. And every resident within the area is suffering from it. There are many residents that were unable to attend this meeting because they have kids they have to tend to and things of that nature. I've been ripping and running all day taking care of my mother and everything else. Got off of work, and I said I was coming to this meeting to be heard. And I don't want to just be heard. This action, I'm demanding a call for action because that's what's needed at this point. Not, oh, we're working on it. No, something needs to be done now because it's that bad. And I just appreciate you guys hearing me out, but I'm coming here to get action. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else wish to speak? Seeing no hands, then I will now close the public portion. Next will be discussion. D1, discussion of Mount Laurel case. Mr. Rizzoli.
Thank you, Council President. Just wanted to advise the council, there's 4 state legislative bills intended to reform the affordable housing process. One is S2997, establish State Committee on Affordable Housing Needs to make determinations concerning affordable housing needs. The Affordable Housing Advisory Committee also recommends giving non-voting members the right to vote and gives mayors the opportunity to determine the distribution of affordable housing requirements within their county. A 1649 prohibits affordable housing obligations exemptions for urban aid municipalities. S2386, establish additional factors, impact on infrastructure, schools, et cetera, for municipal adjustment used in calculating fair share affordable housing obligations, provides population-based cap for these obligations. S2572 allows municipalities to establish up to 50% of affordable housing units for their residents. I just want, wonder if the council wanted to do some type of resolution or something more appropriate to support these, these bills and legislation.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone have a comment?
I think we do have to do something because really the landscape of this town's going to be changing dramatically the next round that we have to do. So I think we should have a voice.
Anyone else wish to speak about this or discuss it? Mr. Pischetti.
Yeah, that Mount Laurel decision was a Supreme Court, New Jersey Supreme Court decision. And they're trying to fix the law. That's great. But do you have copies of these bills that we could read?
Yeah, I can email everybody.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Okay.
Yeah, because before I support something, I have to read it. Okay?
Okay, well, that makes sense. If you want to, you can send that, distribute to everybody, okay? And then people will have time to digest the information.
It's going to be a letter from the Township of Scott Plains, who put it out there recently, was opposing to all this and supporting the legislation. So I'll email all the members of council.
Yeah, this way everyone has a chance to look, and then we can come back next meeting and we can make, our comments and decisions, okay? Anyone else? Thank you very much, Mr. Rizzoli. The next discussion item is peddling and soliciting door-to-door. I put this on because I've been having some issues in some of my developments with people complaining of people coming door-to-door and not having either their proper identification. And some people really don't even realize that they need that in order for them to solicit here in town. Now, I have the clerk here, and Stella was kind enough to get the ordinance and tell us exactly what you should look for as far as door-to-door people soliciting is concerned. This time of year, it's, warm weather, there's a lot of people out there, but a lot of the developments now by me are saying people come all hours late at night, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night, and that's not permissible. So Stella's going to just briefly outline what the ordinance is about, what the rules are to be followed, okay? Thank you, Stella.
Okay. All right, when they come in for a soliciting permit to sell something or talk about home repairs, anything at all, they come in, they fill out a form, we send them down to the police department. With that, they are fingerprinted, they fill out forms, they are totally checked, background checks. They don't get a permit from the town until we get a clearance from the police department. They have to bring in 2 photos. Their photos go on a card. That card is signed after we get approval from the police department, and they come back in and they pick it up. They pay for it and they pick it up. Usually it's different window companies here and there. When the solar companies, all kinds of companies, when they go back to their place that is going to hire them once they're cleared by our police department, they're given a badge to wear, and that badge usually has a picture of them on it, and it's laminated. Plus, they have the laminated card from me, which is laminated, signed, and the township seal goes on it. if somebody rings the doorbell, they have to have this proof with them before you talk to them, whatever. If they don't, and you see people in the area, they're not authorized by the town, call the police department. Tell them, people are in the area ringing doorbells and they're not authorized. And that basically should fix the problem.
And what are the hours, Stella, that they can, do you have it?
Yeah, I believe it's until 9 o'clock. It's either 8 or 9 o'clock. I'm sorry, I don't have that offhand.
It's okay.
But, you know, they want to come after work when people get home. So the ordinance does give them a little leeway here or there. But they ring the doorbell. If it's late, you don't have to answer it. But they do have to have the credentials from the town. If they don't, they shouldn't be out there. Okay.
Thank you. Captain Mandola, as far as if you call the police to report, you know, that you have someone in the development that's going door to door without their proper credentials, what is the procedure then at that point? You call and let the police know, and then they'll come and address?
Yes, absolutely. If somebody sees somebody walking around, they think it's suspicious, they don't trust their identity or anything like that, they'll call us, or she'll show up and check the person's identity and make a full report on it.
And then follow up on it. Okay. I just want to make sure everyone out there realizes that we do have protection there for us, and that there are rules that they have to follow that are very specific, and that if they don't, there are consequences to it. So,
Yes, absolutely.
okay. Thank you very much. Anyone from the council? Mr. Pescetti?
Yeah, what are those consequences? What are the consequences? Let's say someone's soliciting and they didn't register and they're going door to door, and a resident calls, complains, you guys come out, they're not credentialed. What's the penalty?
If they're soliciting without a permit, there's a township ordinance that can be written to them. They'll be summoned. And they'll have to appear in court and they get fined.
Okay. And what about if somebody is credentialed but they don't have that badge? Is there a penalty for that?
If they're credentialed and they don't have the badge, then we'll tell them they can't solicit without the badge. They need the proper identification.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else have, John?
Okay, this is going to sound like a stupid question, but I ran across it 6 or 7 times. Is this going to include campaigning? Because I had quite a few people, mostly in the apartments, because they didn't want to come downstairs. They said, could you just show me? And I said, I don't have anything on me. I mean, is that soliciting?
It's not soliciting.
Going door to door?
That's not soliciting,
No.
John.
It's
Yeah,
not
no.
soliciting, okay.
No.
That's not, yeah.
Information.
Well, no, but no.
Well, 6 or 7 people in the apartments asked me.
Yeah, well,
This time.
well, okay. Anyone else have a question? And Stella, thank you again, Captain Mandola. We just, like I said, I had a lot of people in the different developments saying they're having some issues. So I just want to make sure they realize we do have things in place for them to, you know, rely upon. If there's no identification, please, by all means, call the police department, and they will come, and as he said, they will summon, you know, they'll receive a summons, okay? Thank you very much.
Can I make a comment?
Yes, yeah, oh, I'm sorry, yes, Ken, of course.
I had an opportunity to review the ordinance, and the one recommendation that I would make, and this is clearly up to council, is the part that it, under the permit being in their possession at all times, and shall show such permit upon demand of any peace officer or any other person whom donation or subscription is solicited. My recommendation would be to tighten that up to require them to wear it on a lanyard exposed at all times, because the one issue that happens is when you get people soliciting, if they're not permitted and they're there for really to burglarize places or home invasions, someone answers the door, you know, to ask, can I see your permit? Before it's all said and done, the person's in the house already. So this avoids, especially elderly people, afraid to answer the door. If it's not displayed, they shouldn't answer the door or call the police. I mean, if we tighten up the ordinance, because then it requires it to be exposed at all times while it's soliciting, you don't have an obligation to say, can I see it? You know, an officer shows up, he's not going to worry about it because he can protect himself. But if you're a citizen and maybe you're home alone or it's a young child or something answers the door, nothing there, I mean, what's a kid going to say? Show me your permit, or, you know what I mean? So it's just something you may want to consider about putting in your ordinance, just to put the onus on the person who's soliciting to have it visible at all times.
That's a great idea.
Just
Good, yes,
one
very
suggestion.
point well taken, definitely. Yes.
Council. Are we able to amend it? Maybe we can also add that you have to have some type of shirt on, some type of, paraphernalia with the company name or something. I know a lot of kids aren't going to wear the uniform, but any type of logo or anything like that? Would that be going too far as far as council?
I mean, where are they going to get the, I mean, are they going to purchase the shirt from the township? The township's going to have it
No, say
printed
whatever
up?
company they're representing.
You know, if they were a solo
Oh.
company or they were a...
Or some type of a, well, we could put that in there. I mean, I don't know that it's,
Because you see
I
a
don't
lot
think
of
it's
people walking
illegal,
around even-
but
You see a lot of
you-
people walking around, even whatever the company they're representing.
right, no, look,
easy to
we could,
identify people.
we could put that in there, that they have to wear some kind of, whatever they're wearing, whether it's a jacket, a T-shirt, a golf shirt, that it has to identify the company they're with. You know, I don't know that that's going too far. I don't think that's too unreasonable to ask. But because a lot of these places, it's not their employees that go out and do it. You know, like especially home improvements. Those guys are out, you know, knocking nails and doing what they do to make money. They hire kids essentially to go out and solicit. And so, you know, we could do that as well. You know, I don't see anything illegal about it. You know, what I'll do is, between now and the next meeting, I'll draft up some amendments to that portion of the ordinance for everybody to review, and if you think of anything else that you think might help,
Yeah.
please just email me or call me, because our next meeting's in July, and we can,
July 15th.
July 15th,
we
yes.
can, we can do that. I can make some amendments, and, you know, we'll put it on for discussion, and then we can go from there.
Okay, thank you. And that's a lot of good collaborative ideas. Thank you, everyone. All right, next will be council comments. Anyone on my left for a comment? Anyone on my right for a comment? Mr. Pescitti?
Yes, I wanted to take this opportunity to wish everyone a happy Independence Day, and to remind everybody, this is the day we commemorate the Declaration of Independence, and we're independent from Britain's monarchy. And
Do you need it?
please, don't use fireworks outside of the July 4th holiday, please, and be careful if you do. Thank you very much.
Okay, anyone else on my right? Okay, then I will take a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second? Yes.
Roll call.
Mr. Cahill?
Yes.
Dr. Greenberg? Yes. Mr. Merwin? Yes. Mr. Murphy? Mr. Pescitti?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Soho?
Yes.
8 yes.